Welcome to I Play Games for Content, where I play games for your entertainment. And today we have one near and dear to my heart, Etheria Restart. It is a turn-based tactical gacha RPG with deep strategic systems, stylized visuals, and an evolved sci-fi fantasy narrative set in a post-apocalyptic world where civilizations reboot themselves after catastrophic events. It's the name, Etheria Restart. Now, if you're all caught up, let's get into it. As you can see, this isn't my first rodeo, but if you go to global S6 or 7 or whatever is the newest server out, you click on that and then you go straight into doing your character selector. Make sure you have a name that is so obscure and irrelevant that no one will care that you take it. Now let's see, Gabe Coy. And after that, you'll get right into the story where most of us will choose to skip it. Unfortunately, due to the distance between creator and player, we are forced to walk around in this world devoid of any entertainment. Gamers playing this game on manual at one-time speed is like watching paint dry. Making you manual battle the beginning parts of this game is nasty work. A work so nasty that they make you do it for the next 15 minutes. While this B-roll is playing, I really want to get into what really driving the players to leave this game. It's the fact that they don't value your dollar, they don't value your time, and they don't value all the stuff you have to do to stay competitive in this game. It's like they don't even play their own game. It's infuriating. This game is that super hot girlfriend that constantly lies. A super expensive sports car that breaks down every week. Look at that, during that time we actually finished the battle. Why do gacha games do this? They just know we're just gonna auto battle it because there's too many games on the market, there's too many other games to play, and there's too much time in the day to do other things. The only thing saving me from a mental shutdown from complete boredom is the fact that I can literally move around like I'm in Persona 5. Ambush. Just like in Persona. The cutscene that got me close to feeling something, but I somehow feel cold. Maybe at the same temperature as the prime meridian. 0 degrees. I promised you if something of note happened in the story, I would have told you a long time ago. Actually, none of the characters that you actually pull for even show up at this first starting intro of the game, which is a huge mistake, I think. If we're giving out participation trophies, they definitely tried. A part of me understands this is not the reason you play the game, but that part of me perished the 15 minutes they had me slow playing their autoplay game. Don't do this anymore. This is the penultimate boss battle before we see the title screen and you go Etheria Restart, and all I'm hearing in my head is, I just want this to end. Now, if you can think back to 3 whole minutes ago, I told you this game was very near and dear to my heart, and this is why. Look at the summoning mechanics right here. We get a 5-star right out the gate, guaranteed, Leanne. As of right now, this game consists of the limited banner, the targeted banner, and the permanent banner. And you know what's really cool about the permanent banner is that every character that we see in the targeted, limited, and any limited banner will eventually fall to the permanent summon banner as of right now. So you always have a chance to get those super limited 5-star characters, even though their banner passed. And in this game, there is no weapon banner. Instead, you get shells, and shells help you with your combat and do all the things that weapons would do in other games, but you don't have to summon for them forever and possibly never get them. Yes, that's right, they are farmable, but that could be a plus or a minus of them being squishy and lovable. And this game does have the most annoying thing that the gacha game ever created, the first time bonus pop-up. Go on, spend that dollar. My moment of glee is fleeting because I have been sentenced to go back to the story. But this time with a twist. Good folks over at XD have finally blessed me with a 2 times and an auto battle function. Thank goodness. So modules are like the equipment of this game. You equip them and then they give you stats. If you match all the pictures, you get goldfish, and that goldfish is an attack bonus for this set. Why do games make you walk? I wish we had an auto run feature, auto walk feature. Just get to my location. Better yet, how about we just teleport to where my next fight is? That would be great. So we finally reached the top of the train, and there he is, the man of the hour, Vice. I think Vice is a perfect introduction to the fact that this game has usable SRs and Rs, which are super rares and rares. Make no mistake, this game's literally Restart, but you can use these SRs and Rs to get past some pretty hard content. And Vice is on the lowest rung of the totem pole, R, and to be honest, he's actually pretty usable in a lot of content. The rest of this train is nameless, faceless enemies that are pretty forgettable until we get to Kazuyo. Kazuyo bears the distinction of being the first SR unit you actually get to fight in this game, and she's not really much of a challenge, but you know, it's a pretty cool fun fact. Pretty solid unit as well. She has a dispel and she can reduce your animus and your shell's cooldown if you remember your shell is your weapon. So yeah, pretty awesome. As we get into the first real summon of this game, I want you to know when you see a purple, it means you got an abject failure and you just need to pull again. It brings me to my other pet peeve where the game has different versions of the same character. If you remember 30 seconds ago, we fought a boss named Kazuyo, and she was a completely different outfit in a totally different unit, but look what we pull in this 10 pull. That is the same character in a different outfit. That is ridiculous. Remember when I told you about the weapons of this game called shells and you don't have to pull for them? Well, this is where you get them from. Grim Pursuit. You got to beat these bosses and they might drop. Some of these bosses you actually fight in the story mode, but some of them you don't actually get to, you just see them for the first time. After my little foray in the Grim Pursuit, I get sentenced back to the story mode and I can't believe they're making me go back to this subpar game mode over and over again so early in the game. I told myself I'd rather do anything than go back to the story mode, so I decided to put in a bunch of codes that the game gives to you for free. A million codes later, and we bring in a haul, and I told you this game is near and dear to my heart because you cannot hate a game that gives you this many rewards, can you? The purple discs are actual pulls, and the red gems are currency you can use for pulls and other things. And going by that key, we can look at the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and you can see I have 56 pulls. They blessed me. I scroll through all their trash events until they bless me again. Some of the other notable events is like the Low event, you get her for free, which is an SSR. Then you have the level growth boost event, which is usually going to cost you about $15, so that's cool. Then if you beat up each of the bosses in Grim Pursuit, Threshold, and Ember Trek, you actually get some rewards for those, so pretty cool too. For my more astute viewer, you know that I have not been enjoying the story mode too much, and I haven't been doing anything else in this video to do anything and explain anything else to not go back to this. But here we are. They have sentenced me back here to once again beat my head against the wall. So I fight my way tooth and limb through my own boredom to reach the end of the train, and look at the end of the train. It must be a super secret boss, must be a super amazing boss. I walk up there ready to face this enemy, and it turned out to be Andrew. Choosing rares as the boss of your levels may be the worst design decision. And this is just not in Etheria Restart. Many other gacha games use this logic of let's use every unit that we have in the game, even the ones that we see every single time we pull. So after Trent and Andrew, we finally get to the end of the train, and I am super pumped to fight this final boss, and it turns out to be this super old dude. They call this feller Obel. You see, Obel is a train conductor, and he's been on this train for so many years that he forgot his own name, so they just call him Obel. You see, Obel, just like a train, he prefers to get up to his maximum speed a little bit slower than the rest of us, so he decides to use dots to do his main attack damage. Needless to say, we beat Obel, but then a surprise happens. Obel turns into this super giant monster. Now, this Obel was a little tougher, but we rustled up some courage and put that old timer in the grave. Now, the game introduced me to Threshold, and if you remember modules, this is where we get those from, and these are basically where you get the equipment stats in the game. Difficulty goes normal, hard, nightmare, hell, and then inferno. Or should I say impossible. And Terramatan bears the distinction of being the coolest thing I've fought so far in this video. Also, this is the first time that you'll actually use 5 units instead of 4, so you're gonna have to do a little bit more strategic planning. Unfortunately, this is normal mode Terramatan, so we beat him quite easily. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached 80 summons, and in this game, that is enough to get your very own SSR unit guaranteed. No play. And as I take my first 10 pull and I'm ready, my body is ready to receive what I'm going to get out of this 10 pull, the impossible happens. I got lucky. So that is my beautiful SSR that I got on my first 10 pull, and let me just say after that things went totally downhill from there. And when I say down, I mean down like the Hindenburg, down like the Titanic, down like downtown Freddie Brown. The game decided not to bless me again, and now I'm sitting here looking at my life like, look at my teams. Look at these people. How I'm supposed to make coherent teams out of this? This would be the reaction from a normal player, but I am a man of science. And I have decided to use one particular unit to get me past the rest of the game, and that is RC77. See, science tells us that attack down and defense down are two of the best ways you can defeat an enemy, because you can decrease their attack. If you can decrease their defenses, you will have a better chance of surviving and beating them. That's what makes RC77 great. I decided to make the executive decision to skip through the rest of this story mode just to skip to this fight right here, Shadow Sanja, the only SSR unit we got to fight this whole game. The queen of DOT. I'm pretty sure she's at Obel's supervisor down at the train station. We clap up Shadow Sanja and another one for the good guy. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the episode. Thank you for joining me for I Play Games for Content episode 2. Thank you for joining me. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this and all others on the Game Koi channel. Thank you.